right, we are 3 minutes after the hour of 10 a.m. and today is the 28th day in the month of March, and you're most welcome from wherever you're watching us from to this talk show. And we are going to be discussing the upcoming National Population and Housing Census exercise that is going to be commencing very soon in the month of May. And really, I do have a guest with whom today we are going to be discussing that and really what you need to also know about this census, because sometimes people do not have enough knowledge about this exercise, and that is why they also shun it and they do not also participate in it. And remember, the government of Uganda does this after every 10 years, and that means that after every 10 years there is a census population exercise that is supposed to be conducted, and this is to identify the number of the population. And remember, Uganda last had this exercise done in 2014 where the population actually rose from what was done previously, and this year we also be looking at maybe if the projections can indicate that the number is going to be increasing. And remember, this exercise is very much important, and we shall be doing that with you. And if you have any questions as the viewer out there, please feel free to drop your comments on the comment section. And for those of you watching us online, for instance, those on Facebook, please drop your comments there. And not forgetting those watching us via YouTube, you can also as well drop your comments in there, and we shall be able to share that with the rest of the viewers. But really, before wasting any time, if I can be able to introduce my guest, he is called Moses ATIKU, and he is a senior planning officer, really, and this is in relation to the upcoming population exercise with ARUA City, and his title is actually, for one who does not know him, he is a senior planning and evaluation officer, monitoring officer, and really he will be telling us more into that. But really, if you can allow him also introduce himself, because I do understand that he is only the person who can best introduce himself to you as the viewer, also for you to get to know who exactly our guest for today is. You're most welcome.
Thank you, our listeners. My name is Moses ATIKU. I'm the Senior Monitoring and Evaluation Officer of ARUA City. And this office is in the Department of Planning, Projects and Grants, Department of ARUA City. We are coordinating the National Population and Housing Census, which is coming. So, but I'm here on behalf of Uganda Bureau of Standards. Uganda Bureau of Statistics,
okay.
Public Relation Office. We are creating awareness about this National Population and Housing Census, which is coming from
yes, Mr. Moses, maybe if you can be able to tell the viewer what exactly this population exercise is, because Ubos is mandated by the government of Uganda to actually carry out this exercise after every 10 years. It is to help identify the population of the country such that the resources can also be budgeted by government, and then this also maybe also caters for, in terms of resource allocation, where maybe if you're counted, it will also really help you also have a budget in line to that. And if you miss out, then definitely you'll be infringing on the rights of others who are counted. Yeah. And maybe somebody who is out there. You know, we in WESTNILE sub-region, at times our Lubara culture, so we have traditions that are really against it. We have other people who do not want to be counted. More so the men, they do not want to see their children also being counted. Maybe if you can briefly tell us what this exercise is all about, that would also really be quite good for us to also know what it is all about.
Thank you, Mr. Presenter.
Because we are seeing two issues, the National Population and Housing Census. What is it all about? First, paint for us that image of what this is all about.
Okay, before I come to that, I want to give a very brief background of what Ubos is all about. Uganda Bureau of Statistics Act 1998 provides for the development and maintenance of a national statistical system to ensure collection, analysis, and the publication of integrated, relevant, and reliable, and timely statistical information. So the Bureau is established as a coordinating, monitoring, and supervisory body for the national statistical system in Uganda. In addition to being the source of official statistical information, the Bureau is responsible for providing high-quality central statistical information services in Uganda. And then also the Bureau promotes standardization in the collection and analysis and the publication of statistics to ensure uniformity in quality, adequacy of coverage, and the reliability of statistics information. It provides guidance, training, and other assistance as may be required to other users and providers of statistics. The Bureau promotes cooperation, coordination, and rationalization among users and providers of statistics at national and local levels, so as to avoid duplication of effort and ensure optimal utilization of scarce resources. Finally, Ubos is mandated to promote and being focal point of cooperation with the statistical users and providers at regional and international users.
Okay.
But the significant thing which we have come for is what we call the National Population and Housing Census, which is coming. As you correctly alluded, the last National Population and Housing Census in Uganda was carried in 2014. That means 10 years away. So a population census is actually a process of carrying out a total count of all persons within the territorial boundaries of a given state at a given period.
You know, somebody out there
disseminating also this the relevant findings for decision making.
Okay, somebody out there may not be knowing the advantage of this. Maybe what are some of the key importance of the National Population and Housing exercise that Ugandans ought to know?
Very importantly, National Population and Housing Census helps, first of all, to locate where we are. Where do we, the main objective is to determine where we stay, how we stay, and also the facilities and the institutions which help us deliver social services. Precisely, when we carry out this census, we try to use the statistical information for decision making. This is now by government broadly. So census will answer basically 5 major questions. How many we are, and then where we are, and then how we are living, what we own, by the way, what we own in terms of properties, tangible properties, and where we access our services. So precisely, that is the purpose of population census. So that is why the exercise is coming.
And I believe this will be able to commence, that is in the month of May. I don't know how long it will take, maybe after, maybe also before the commencement period. How many days is this exercise going to be running?
The census will commence on 10th, but the census night is on the 9th. That is May 9th. It will go from 10th to 19th. So that is the gazetted period of time. And by the way, the 10th of May is going to be a public holiday. Yeah,
so
and
nobody is allowed to move maybe away from, to go to school or maybe to these public places?
Yeah, we need to stay at your residence so that we can capture this information very well. And very importantly, the census night is going to be on 9th.
Okay.
9th.
Maybe talking about the census night, if you can briefly explain to me what it is all about, and somebody out there who is lay, just like me, may also not understand what the census night is all about, because we have had families who are saying, since I'm polygamous in nature, I don't know where I'm going to be counted, and that is where the issue of the census night could be coming from. What is it all about?
The census night is a reference night. That point where on the 9th you slept, up to the time when we will carry out the enumeration, 9th of September, which is the census night, will be used as a reference point.
Okay.
So when the enumerators will go and pick information about you, they will ask you during that night where you slept.
Okay.
Where there are people who may have extended family, maybe here in ARUA city, and maybe in Terego or in Marata, even in neighboring Congo. But my appeal to this population is that if you know you are in this category, please make sure that the census night captures you in Uganda.
Okay.
On the 9th, that 9th, please, you avoid other women, other families which are not here. Let yourself be counted in Uganda, especially those who are not within Uganda. You may have, within the border, you may have two families. One is in Uganda and then the other one may be a Congolese or somebody like that. But ensure that you are captured for purposes of proper planning and the statistical information.
Meaning that the census night will be the one to determine where you are counted?
Yes, where you will be counted will be the census night, which is going to be on the 9th of May.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Maybe what are some of those pre-enumeration activities that Ubos will be undertaking prior to the exercise that is set to be maybe kicking off, that is in the month of May? I believe there's some activities that you must be doing right now, maybe to prepare, that is, for this exercise.
Exactly. The Bureau has had a number of pre-enumeration activities to commence this exercise of the population and the housing census. For example, recently has been listing of households, household listing. This is where information is got on the location of a household, commercial activities and institutional structures, which is within yourself. Okay. So this one has already been taken. Recently also, there were adverts which were run for people to apply
as enumerators.
Positions, enumerators and the other positions. So I think the exercise is on. Interviews will be conducted shortly.
Recently, we did see this exercise being extended, and this is one reason actually it is said that people have not embraced applying. And when I tried interacting with the population, they are saying there's some bit of confusion that is in relation to these other jobs that are running, because today we have so many entities that are recruiting. We have NITA, which is also recruiting for, that is for those who are going to be working as agents to renew these lines. And then we have others also. Maybe what can you say about this confusion that is there between the members of public, more so those who are confusing this exercise of NITA and Ubos? Because I believe
NITA and Ubos activities, basically in terms of recruitment, they'd fallen almost the same time, but Ubos is different from NITA. Okay. And the arrangements of Ubos is basically to ensure that there is a very efficient and effective enumeration exercise, that is the population census and the housing census is properly carried. In case not enough enumerators will be attracted. Okay. I think the Secretariat will give guidance on how because what we are aware of is that every station will have enumeration, enumerator, and the exercise will be ongoing. Okay. Just like that.
Maybe what message do you have for those outside there who are currently complaining about unemployment? Because NITA, for you to, maybe also Ubos, for you to apply, there's a requirement of a smartphone, because I do understand this exercise is going to be done online. And Ubos has already put plans in place, that is in terms of purchasing these gadgets, which are going to be distributed to these enumerators and then supervisors. Maybe what message do you have for that Ugandan who is out there watching us right now and feels he or she needs to apply, but is also a bit scared to apply? Because we have seen the numbers are very few in terms of whom we have tried to ask if at all they have applied for these jobs here. What message do you have for that one Uganda, maybe that one WESTNILE who could be there in the village but has the knowledge of ICT and has a smartphone but is very, very much reluctant to apply?
What I'm aware of is that Ubos gave the adverts within some stipulated deadline. I think it was the 15th of this month when the applications were needed. And you know, it is a process. Some time needed to do sorting and so on of the particulars. But because there were requirements also to qualify, I'm hopeful those who applied met the criteria. And as you have correctly alluded, this upcoming census, population and housing census, is going to be digitalized. Okay. Digital exercise. where we want to come out, graduate from
Paperwork.
the paperwork. Then we are now going to do digital, just like other countries have done it.
Okay.
And the digital technology system and technology requirements were key as one of the requirements for you to make applications. You must know that before you will have applied, you must really be conversant with those requirements. For example, a computerized tablet will be given, and then also GPS machine will be used to do geolocations. So really, these ones need some kind of. The Bureau will employ the use of computer-assisted personal interview tablets, what are called CAPI. CAPI to capture all the relevant information. And addition to this is a device of taking coordinates to facilitate references, especially in terms of global position system, which will also be used to capture geo-coordinates. So you can see this is something. This is how also the household listing has been done.
Okay.
People
so somebody talking about the house listing, somebody may be asking, how does the household listing and geomapping and in collection of accurate data and creation of maps that is really also there that is going to be used by enumerators, how is it going to work in relation to that? Talking about the issues of the collection of data and then the geomapping, how are these going to be working together to see that we have an accurate exercise?
You see, when you are geomapped in the house listing, then people will be attached to those geo coordinate points. So basically, that is the linkage.
Okay.
For example, you might have been mapped here, and this is the house. This is the point where people do stay. So this point was mapped, and the coordinates will help locate also people who are the occupants. Okay. Yes.
Okay, for any exercise, I do believe that there are also people who want to just take advantage. For instance, the conmen who will want to infiltrate any people and any process. And we are going to also be hit by people who want to really also disguise as workers of Ubos. I don't know what strategies you have to really also ensure that these issues are addressed. For instance, when talking about really, I don't know what measures the Bureau has in place to also really avoid impersonation of Ubos workers. Are there strategies maybe you look forward to also really addressing these issues with?
Actually, two things. One is what is the security of the information which is being collected. Under the Act, this information will strictly be used for the purpose of this census.
So meaning there are no cases?
It is also in accordance with the
law.
UN statistical information. Enumerators will show what is called oath of allegiance, that is secrecy, in order to protect and preserve all the data which are with them for purposes of this exercise. Now, during that day, Ubos will provide tools and the gadgets to identify the enumerators. For example, when we will come to finalize like this, we'll come with the attires which will really specify that, and also identity. That you are the responsible officer to carry this.
Okay.
Subsequent to this is the monitoring system. People will be monitored. We shall be moving to see that the exercise is smooth.
Okay.
And then the use of the use of police. Okay. Will be there so that we move and the whole thing is orderly.
Okay. Yes. Talking about that issue, maybe in terms of treating this information for private purposes, yes. I believe we are going to confess that information is going to be termed confidential, yes. Not going to be spread. That is from one place to another. And I want also to understand that there are guidelines by Ubos, because we may be talking about the public interest, maybe public being protected, but what about the body? Because recently we did see a question that is to the enumerators who are going to work, against misuse of these tabs. What can you say about the exercise, maybe in terms of these who are going to be getting the tablets that they're going to use in terms of also carrying out this exercise? Because in our areas here, we may also be hit by issues of network, because we did witness it with other projects. For instance, in the PDM, where there were online registrations, and we were affected more so in the border areas by the issues of network. I don't know, as Ubos, are there strategies that you have drawn in place to see that your gadgets that you're going to give out, the enumerators, are very safe?
Yeah, for your information, the gadgets which Ubos has been using are efficient.
Okay.
They are effective, and they will really accomplish this task. The networks challenges which usually come with our ordinary system, I think there are backings which are provided for in that computer tablet. For example, recently when the house listing was done, there were no cases of no network and so on. In the case of that, I think there is that digital monitoring system which will enhance the capacity of the network.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is it. I think also, before we head into another break, if you can be able to briefly summarize what we have been discussing here for that ordinary Lugbara who does not understand maybe English very well, so that he or she understands why it is very, very much important to be part of this exercise. Misus ne saz ni isim. Obileki basi manzi ku hagupiki yo de kari mavulubara le ku abi mavruge yo le bani anzi la zo de se amakala fe bale bala ku yo tadrobal yo de ngata iku. Teledisa de imali le manikichi ya dadaru le bala mara. Msan gamete ne anivi opoisu atita fezu idrini kan ko ba icho imaza kongoni lezo atita ndondo di yesu msana ikadi musukuli malias misu ne ba yo no kini kala fe yangiritu arojo arokiyo tado ya fana dizili mega ire yo bani obi lazo kuli msana gamete ne de pale alo dike ili mudrimba de malia banga atita fe obi idri o petabani edisi yo menchonjo obi idira lubarti siringoni da mabuta madinga mwavali zazini suwereni
mabapi lubara azini ba madu WESTNILE yade ama yonje lata ban muzu ba lazo azini jo makalafe lazo gamete amadu ni uti gerkati ya muti banonve Uganda Bureau of Statistics kan ku Ubos vusiri utitade ere uri mudri vutie ba yandro tita oko bane yori ezuli ri mudri ni susi alifiri mudri ni susi adisa choli mudribo asisile ban lezo li mudrivutie ba mala ba azine afa joplere ere otita fezo bane otizu kilili azine kala feminre ba danire government ne ayone bane afaze budget play kan kolona wazo diki yezo ba alo Uganda oro re oro di government nichi government ni sende ba azingazo ba alo ni sende de bala fugari budget vose cheke ni ka feme lako o petaban mu utitaban mu tire ka feme lako le ni kiliro utita azimene de government evo bana choste aza koma fezo mini yo
zika mwarora medira fibazi
medira fibazi masararo utita asisile bana lezo ba alo amavu Uganda ba la derare di government anini yo bada makalafe irisi aya kalafende afa bana ayo oni afa kan kwa fa bana ayo bani services ku suzu arojo play school play de kala fazi de lechi baleta madra farpini eteta si school player kem kala ferren ko peka bate school bando arojo player kala ferren ko peka bate bando aya kala fende ka de parira angiri bate doctor ta de bala pini ngoni afo dakibani ku tizu so government le azina fazi service njila player yi player e di ba de toni kala fedre so e ka de famila yori ako e cheke ni medire chande fe adini bazi fe pi la pira pini medinga afa ba pi la pira pivere le ayo te cha deveni ko etata sha mavure ba benda balara aya omuna le kan ko ba mavure fujiru le fiki Madrid ya aya ba pini fizu dia ba ni ndra na makala fe de pirira million kana de renda now te sare se ba pini mure fere ya cha de go million da dilie afazi ba bara pini banandra weke lazu kwe kan kubana wezu tita bazo ini kwe sisi bane babara ni eki amu ayo ilayo mini ba nusu aro player chako baka muskulu mesu kala fek baka class ya
meke baka onze aro madriani misu aro jama vle ARUA di eri obi idi atitafe ombo rusamba misu ne ba ifuwa mama George le Congo azini Sudan ya devini mu aro sudia so le tanga ni otitadi mali ama vini mbadle de ilandir mali kani amaloba mu ya bodi ilai
otitadi mitatu ba Uganda alako mi Uganda ni teme umbu romsi
mediati
umbu rom mbato uversi mediati ba me laende
okay
la taba ni muzuba lazuri ya ovuni ba mu midi Uganda no ya eko kan ko mi national ID chair ba mu ayo eko ba chi Uganda afa ba no su Uganda sarasi umbu romsi ya chi ba ke ladria da bela ni fe bangani amadi Uganda rongopi omunele ka mesere de angopi so bandunduri pie
okay
aya afandundu bane ayu amesele de jople deki amavu kala fenisi
okay
aya fazite de njila pile kan ko aro jople kan ko government neta eriki iki amavu dia bande makala fe de sitaraya yiple oriki ba wa fare kingone afa deki government dibele afande devini fani bane icheta se bazi docteur pile nasi pile baza ko pe aro zo ari makala fe otu
okay
askuneru de embaba pie etata si embaba pie lor bale ta embaba si kalto de su te mi su kala fene da rezu modisi embaba pie lor so sans ba embaba ya turu alu kalina kan ku turu alu mudri
so na kala fene de ser nyangira
kala fene de changira mbamba aya quality kan ku urata de ban lezo embatare bamon sur bada alare ere de adera
odefo mega madinga mu avali zazini suwere sana matoto darsi. All right, dear viewer, in case you're just joining us right now, you're most welcome aboard. This is a talk show on the upcoming national population and housing exercise that is set to commence in the month of May. That really we must also really ensure that we take part in as citizens of this country, not only as citizens, whoever is in this country, we must make sure that we are counted, because this is going to help cater for the country's budget for the next 10 years. And that means that really if you are not part of this exercise in the next 10 years, you may be infringing on the rights and the resources that are allocated for a person that was counted. That is why this exercise is very, very much important. And really, in case you're just joining us right now, or you join us at the beginning of the program, you can really drop your comments there, and I can see quite a number of them coming through. I will be able to go through them, and then the guest may also respond where necessary. But for now, let me take this short commercial break, and as I bounce back, we shall also be continuing with the program for now. Thank you.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region. West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back from that short commercial break. We are yet continuing with the discussion that is in relation to the National Population and Housing Census exercise that is set to kick in the month of May. We are just some few months and some few weeks, in fact a month and a week, I think, that is to this exercise, and that is why it is very, very much important for you out there as a citizens, as somebody who is out there who is also really living in this country, to be part of that exercise. And later on, before we did go for the break, we are discussing in local language who exactly qualifies, and I will also be bringing back my guest to maybe explain whoever qualifies maybe to be enumerated in this exercise in the coming minutes. But before we get to that, maybe people also getting ready to also become maybe as enumerators. And then there's a question here. Somebody is asking, hello, I'm Costa streaming live from Rigbo, that's Madoko district, and he thanks for us for the show, and is asking whether he wants to know maybe the time for the conducting of interviews of successful candidates will be able to commence there. I don't know, maybe if you can also guide in relation to when the exercise for the interviews will be able to commence, because I do understand that Akasiku, maybe Costa is one person who may also be out there who has maybe applied and has interest in working as an enumerator. That would also really be quite good as you head into maybe who qualifies to be enumerated later on.
Yeah. For the applications which have been received, I think the Secretariat will issue a guideline on when the interviews will be conducted. I think when that one is done, we shall make announcement, and it will also be on radio, on media. But what I know is that people will be sent to come and conduct this interview at the regional level. Okay. Because it may not be feasible for everybody to travel there.
Okay. So that is it. So who qualifies to be?
Who qualifies to be enumerated, or who is eligible for this enumeration exercise?
Is it only for Ugandans?
No, no. In Uganda, we use what is called de facto census approach, which simply means that people are enumerated where they are found. Okay. Not necessarily regardless of where they normally reside. Okay. So the basis of this enumeration is actually where you are found. So that is the approach in Uganda, and this means that you don't have to be a Ugandan necessarily to be counted during the census. This will look like a contradiction to some people because it is a census in Uganda. Now, if you are not present during the census night in Uganda, that means you will have missed. So anybody who is within Uganda on 9th will be enumerated, and that is actually the purpose. And we don't need national ID, by the way. We don't need national ID for this exercise. What we only need is where were you during the 9th of May, during the census night. So I think that is the most important clarification I want to make there. Okay. So everybody who is within Uganda during the census night will be counted. This does not exclude refugees who are within Uganda. And anybody who is here will be counted. So that's the most important.
Maybe talking about the different stakeholders who have a role to play in this exercise, I do understand that this exercise is going to be totally decentralized. Maybe what are some of the, those stakeholders are targeting? For instance, the local governments, what roles do they have to play in terms of also ensuring that this exercise is a success? I do understand that local governments, because you're going to be moving up, this exercise is going to be decentralized, and this is where they are to come on board. Maybe what are some of the things that maybe you need from them to also ensure that this exercise is a success?
For your information, this is a government program. Uganda Bureau of Statistics is a government entity. So let us take it that this is government. So all the government machinery, all the government architecture will be key in this. And by the way, the 10th of May is a public holiday. This is also gazetted by government. So because of the importance of this exercise and the critical role statistical information provides in decision making, government has thought it wise that during that time people should be at home.
Okay.
And at the city level, we have stakeholders, the RCC and the town clerks, and then the technical people and the media.
Okay.
Different stakeholders will all be stakeholder in this. I think that is, but the exercise is more to all the cells, in the city. We have about 600, I think 600.
Okay.
64 cells in ARUA city.
Okay.
And people will be enumerated from there. And then this information will be accumulated at ward level. Wards are parishes, what used to be parishes. Cells are the LC1s. So we come like this, and then all the wards information will be accumulated to that level of division. Okay. We have two divisions here. There's a IV division and the ARUA Central Division. Then at the end of the day, when we get that information, we'll now consolidate it to the city level arrangement. And that is how we have also structured the supervision arrangement and the monitoring arrangements. So different people will be involved in the day-to-day running of these enumerators. Will be in every station at the cell level, and then whatever information they will get there, and then will come upward. But because of the digital connotation, whatever is done, it just comes. Yeah, that is the beauty of it. We are not going to use this paper, this analog paper thing. We are highly going to digitalize this, and computerized tablets are going to be given.
Talking about these government programs, Ubos is mandated by the government of Uganda to undertake this exercise. And this exercise that is set to commence in May is actually one where government needs to ensure that there is success. And this is to identify the population of the country. And I believe, just like the rest of the government programs, this could also be marred by rejection and violence. For instance, during the recent residual spray exercise, which is totally a government program, somebody was able to remove in Maracha bow and spear to also really avoid those people who had come to conduct this exercise here. Maybe do we have punishments for those who may also really want to shun this exercise, because sometimes we have people who do not want to be counted. For them, they are rigid, and for them, they want no change. For them, they think these are programs that are very bad. Maybe government is coming out. Maybe they have negative perception about this government program. That is why they are avoiding them. For one who may also really want to avoid this program here, what message do you have for them? Are there punishments, or it is something that is peaceful, voluntarily, or there's force where need be?
This is a peaceful, voluntary, but I should note that the level of sensitization which is given to people will not really call for those extreme issues. There will be no reason why somebody will refuse to be counted, because be counted so that government is responsible for planning for you, for providing services and so on. What will be the reason why somebody rejects to be counted? What will be the reason? Of course, we have mythological issues, especially some families, some tribes, they think counting children, counting maybe wife is not okay. But this is the purpose. This is the population and housing census, which is once in 10 years. It is for purposes of planning, effective and efficient planning, using statistical information. Why will somebody refuse to be? This is why the local governments are key in mobilizing people. And this is why we have come to these radio programs, TV programs, to sensitize. Everybody should actually come and embrace this upcoming census, population census, population and housing census, which is a routine thing. This thing is going to be used so that we plan very well our economy. We plan very well our activities, our services will be flowing. So it is my greatest request that all the structures will come in and ensure that this exercise is well conducted, and the outcome will benefit everybody.
Okay.
For example, ARUA is now a city. In the last national population and housing census,
we are a municipality.
ARUA was a municipality, and there were districts.
Okay.
So boundaries have been redefined. So who are the people in this city? Where are the administrative units? Then where are other services located? What about the schools and the infrastructure which is needed? Now that we have 2 divisions, are there going to be provisions for other divisions to come? It is based on population. Divisions and administrative structures which are created is not for granted. It is people-centered. So that's the reason why this thing is very, very important. I will implore all my people of the city, in ARUA city, to actually take the lead. If we have families outside, if we have our own families who are residing maybe in Congo, in Sudan, and the neighboring countries, let them come.
Okay.
That census night of 9th should find them here. They will go later.
Okay.
The only public holiday will be on 9th, but the exercise will go up to 19th.
19th. Meaning,
for your information,
and how is it going to be? Maybe how are the enumerators going to be conducting themselves during this exercise, and how should the public respond when these enumerators visit them? That would also
during
be
that day, if it is not finished, we shall refer. Even if it's beyond the 15th, we shall refer to.
And then maybe how long in the day, maybe during the due course of the day, how long will the exercise run? For instance, let's say maybe from 8 a.m. to what time?
5.
What time?
This
Yes.
government program, 8 to 5, and then like that. This is the routine movement of enumerators. But the other statistical computation issues and so on can go beyond that. But it is within the official time. Okay.
Yes. Maybe how should these population conduct themselves once these people maybe from the government come to them with requiring the information? More so the enumerators who may visit the different villages request information. How should the village maybe members conduct themselves in terms of also liaising for the success of this
these
program?
enumerators will be assisted by our LC, our LCs, and that structure which is there at cell level. And even at ward level, there will be also supervisory team moving to follow. And because of the official nature of this, every government structure at that level is involved. So LCs are part of this day-to-day arrangement up to the end. So really, giving information, if for example an enumerator appears to be like a stranger, then the LC one will be there to guide.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody is going to be counted in terms of the age. Are we going to be counting the newborn babies? Are we going to count also the elderly?
Okay. Newborn babies.
Maybe you can guide in that line.
Newborn babies. During that time, newly born babies. I think the hospital has a system of coming up with those newly born babies, because we may not have...
what about my colleagues in the villages who still do not want to go and give birth from the hospital? Do we have any criteria of counting them also?
Provided during that ninth day, 9th of May, the mother is there. We will count the mother. But I think what we will not count is the young boy, the young baby. Yeah,
but somebody out there may be saying this is a newborn baby and he's alive, or he or she is alive. Why don't we count them? Because after 10 years, this person would also really reach an age of starting to seek for these social services. For instance, maybe health, maybe also going back to school, because we start realizing our children going back to school at the age of 8 years today, at least we start seeing them going back to school. Why don't we maybe also ensure that we count this thing, because by the time they reach the next census,
our culture, customs, you may not have a name and so on. So really, when we're enumerating people, who are the people in this whole family? So the new, I don't think the newly born baby will have been named.
But they are still
we can keep that one, but we shall keep on throwing more light on this if there are changes. But in the last presentation in radio with my friend Nanishi, who is the public relations officer for Ubos, I think this question was asked,
Yes.
and the answer was that no, those newly born babies who have newly been born, I think they may not be captured, especially during that night. They may not be captured. But those who have taken like maybe 1 or 2 weeks with the name, everything, we will count.
Okay.
Yeah, we count.
That I think also is putting somebody out there because ba mega amavu surua baka ba la mi kodini risita fa bi madriangira mba. So me bicho dina mana ti ko ba were rura baba ni muladi ya di. Msana adi sitara bani lazuni ko titadi malia.
Lata amani muzuba lazudi. Ba mu banga bani usu Uganda ache. Umbudo romse. Daba mukila. Ale ba manema ba pilu baratisidi kine government mo titari ya ba bombudu mudri emba to imburu mudra banga aku
bazi
mwazie ko da public holiday ni. So ba debelengane census ma yo doda baba ni lade de batatro munalero aya mataba Uganda oro sabani umbudu rom niusu diari banga kila adria katatu arba kongwani katatu arengwante umbudu rom disi idi Uganda dia banga de line
mega devini sa amavo tita amavo ike isu ne ama wa kongwa dikipe misu ne amazidi ya zinga kongwa ta ama Uganda kanu kwa amazidi ya makuwa zidi kongwa lala so tadi malia banga muri engoni lezu nezukini tadi ma teke avini mu paruru lerul malia Sudan malendi misu ne obi azidi ya Sudania te Uganda ni miduvini su ne sa zani isi nga mu Uganda mfi Sudan evini fu mu dolendi ni malia o emi otumi ngondo lezu nezukini bala badi worodin.
Okay. Ba minindra mani Uganda oro te yo biasara nisi kanko yo te bana azube selia
alo
disi echo mu boda milia da serade amata ikine bara wa niki wal ma otoki i umbudu oro mi unidase yo katara de mi dele ngona rati mi mu te mi adri Uganda do ba la mera Arsko baba ni mula de lo ba lo mbudu oromi du afabano ve census night ni the reference point ni yo bani latari ma yo duzu baba ni la de ni adre mbudu RCC mata ikini ba madri Uganda oro amvesa ata suru amvere are woro we muke wadre ko mbudu oromi sidia atiezi kada da chika nko yazimi kame durane madume mbudu oromi vutia
okay
te bangazi baka mu akuri abo bangazi umbudu dense ba drepe akuri are ka adiki adilaki dan bade yora ke yo ban la dai so point aloda ale te badra mamu ba malaba amasa seru city dia aya totone ama Uganda ma wako urlero omuna le pina de zangirre o chokwa madri achi baka kala fere la kiliko aya baka bar pikala fere ni kiliko baka bara kila andi afari akiliko misun rekiri ama chandi amangar chandi suyo aro suzu kankuni to suzu services azir ku suzu rese
okay
bare kibani muziki lazo indiri ovuni bakila Uganda rolako bakila
la ima
umuna lero chakene banini umuna le makala fa mawdi asi
okay
kanko ba mpi kongo are ke mawdi asi de devini kala fa do are de devini azizi Uganda ni dungare ta manero kala sawa mavu Uganda are iringa fa ne ba azi kanko utita madri Uganda very
okay
banile afale aware dia baloni Uganda very duba awa kalafesi kalafesi so me kalafe kade fi kwebo chekini me baban lara rekiri ile okay na ramusilini so asisile ban leza fara madre so tita madre bara pine muzu woro dia ba malaro dika ba ma du ban muzu ba lazum bodu dozo mudri ari ba dudi asidriase askuna fare uli mudri apale alo le ba malamira ba kinga mu elo sikinga de chi eke banga pimu pibana ayo enumerata zero pia zako aku kan ko sele ada aya kidenga bara ki uji akuma tishini ne ba
mega otita de pala kozor so mangamiro egerko aya nirisi gerko wawani ozazo de maleasi ani kimi oto digane mi dele ngoni royari lezo nezo kini otadi machi onyiru musane amadedi mu gerko kartasi ayi zanire ko alede amoja gerko aya ni musane iuni yojoja levini ojata mefindi dininga pala ko kozi mininga muzo tadi ezu gerko aya nirisi imi oto mi ngoni lezo nezo kini otadi machi onyiru.
Okay, our form vitamin zirisi uturisi sabiti ali dilutsana apeba piti mu jo ma locations ke banu ve house listing apeba piti akuselesi dia mavo ARUA city dia district is pure ba yandrabo district azi WESTNILE asi kan ku Uganda asi ba yandrabo te city very big da do so bana piti perea ba fe edri computer tablet indi afada aba so afazin de bindurla de joma locations ki kan ko joma coordinate points reference la ki ba ya de ki bo ba capture la ki bo ba devini mu style alo de ayu ban mu ba lazo chakene ba mu akundra banendre kan ko bane ruti masinda ara masinda de akuri ne ngwa udukuru de ngwa de lo afabano ve coordinates geo reference coordinates la bakayo afara ezo aya baka di murabo bata di akura ada mburda sitki letabo suki dachi bade yo bane muzu bala zo de bade vele cheda.
Okay, so mecha dure mingonde utitade ni
amangonde utitade machine vuria urizo chota drekini afa network ruro chonga mbo kan kungondra te machine bana afera ki machine da pia banga afasu afa network no chonga drazuko kan ko ni adazu kilili banga asu then battery ki ka de kilili yo zika denga dre afara ni gerkati ban ngazo afara ma azakozo richi asko banga fayo afarika woro satellite monta satellite monta
so anjita ta mama vumi isu ne ARUA desa se simo paza ichangire to amba meka de otita mvler malias anjita de bilenduli za fezo anjita de mavule basi mo pe bato de
simo menen rebane kan ku computer tablet bane fe bar pinezi ngazo de lo afa alla lo azida ngazo ite ka dura rodule ikadura uguzi ka dura zisirani by the located by the located afata satellite rushi ika mi to yo le ezo ani bangami duru dale aya dika simu da fen mino rodule diku because simu da ma system ma balo yo da zingazo da vutie idilo yo da ba go vele ba yo ne simu azama
mega de divini mu ba
choka no picture ki du ngone
mega de divini go ba mu ba le ba zidi ngaba de idre ile ndo le zaro ba ka midre fa de fe le mi buriku mi go vele msade mi robia ninge fira mega utita de malia sa zini si obile sa amesu nek no agule ke apply fa de azidi malia kumsanya yega ma robia ni musa du izwamba kan ko ma robia de mo foko ni so mega ta mi to no ba obi de idira ba le ba mu wa singa ba ni military de idike
ba ni mudu azidi
ma robia ninge fira
ça c'est application fait pibo application de ba fait vin de system ta lorisi oli aliasi mu de lere ba mu bar pima afa ale yara der ba ka me dubo azidi mene ngaria ba me ofera ba me ofera ba vumi afa grisi mo ase drio tursi ba ba ni ba field ya house listing yep dia pini yerle bande ke bo fe ma sende bo
okay
bo fe bo so azili ni adra faro sisi ba mi dra point me leta fe banga me fe ngoni yoro ke woro ba ku ti da
okay
ba ba ka de fe mi bo da vina ngade mi adoro
mi yaro
identity card le ngara muria banga mi ruti afa ba afa de ba chi
okay
kene de numerator de numerator dia aro aya LC vuda ban muria ban list la ke feria echata se wadi
so ala ta bini wazoni balo mu wazi de ngaba de obi ba village alo de malia de yakane banga mo 2000 ewera msa becho mi jinga zu village alo ba mi village azara le kane ba obi alo mu wazi ngaba afa de malia de obi alo angu de malia de ogo de ba qualify pi per ni de ba banda requirement afa dini qualities dini kan competence dini ma da chika okay
te pari zika ma da chi competence lo chovina dre ayora so baba ninga duchi de banga de be te with the help of afa local leaders
okay
banga de fera
okay
then ba zite ziringa pripibe
okay
ba limit ni de lu mitanga sel akan ku wadira akan ku.
Okay, sani amatotorisi mega matami iyo mini nzadi yari asizudi yo jazu mudoti suwere somebody out there may not be knowing what exactly the online exercise is going to be going through, and really what it takes for them to actually ensure that this exercise runs very much maybe very much also there to really see to it that it runs maybe very smoothly there. And maybe also finally, my final question to you is that what does Ubos also call upon Ugandans to do ahead of the National Population and Housing Census 2024? What do you expect of the population? That is also the final question I'm posing to you, if you can be able to summarize in the last 1 minute, because we're just remaining with about a minute, 2 minutes to step out of the show and leaving that is the studio for the next part to come through.
What we expect from population is cooperation and to submit them for this exercise, to embrace this exercise positively. That is the attitude we want to create. And the purpose of this census is basically to come up with the accurate information, statistical information for decision making, for planning at the national level. The other issue which we have talked in Lubara, which I want to put in English, is the security issue of the people, the gadgets. The gadgets. Those gadgets are, we call it customized, basically for that purpose. And after using by enumerators, they will all be called back, retrieved. And these gadgets are going to be very efficient in terms of network, in terms of
the battery with our stable power source in
stable battery. And in case there are some small distortions, I think there will be a team to help.
Okay.
There will be that backup which will be there.
Okay.
And for your information, this is a digital controlled system.
Okay.
Satellite.
Okay.
Satellite control system.
Okay.
So when you are doing, even when the numerators will be there,
okay,
it will be known.
Okay.
It will be known elsewhere. They will be known.
Okay. As time cannot allow us, maybe your final say in 30 seconds as we step out.
My appeal to ARUA City, the population, from ourselves, wards, and the divisions, and the entire city is that let us mobilize our people, all our relatives, all our friends, brothers, to be present on the 9th, which is going to be the 9th of May, which is the census night. That is the reference night for all this engagement.
Okay. And
we need to mobilize people to do this, because for us as a city, this is needed more than any other assignment.
Okay.
There are boundaries to demarcate, and there are a number of issues in order to properly define the city.
Okay.
So really, the city needs to embrace it more than any other local government.
As this ARUA city also is, since it's one of the cities also in West Nile sub-region, the capital city of West Nile sub-region, and this is the very first time that we are going to be witnessing a population census exercise. That means that there is need for each and everyone out there to be part of this. Because if you really leave yourself out, definitely it would also really affect you at the end of the day. So with that, really, I want to come to a close of the discussion. I hope you had a wonderful time with us as we come to a close of the discussion. And especially, I want to appreciate you watched us right from the time we began until this hour of the morning. We say we are looking forward into the success of this exercise. That means that you has a role to play. Now, you who has the information, you should also really keep extending the information to the rest of the people out there. And really, you should tell your relatives, maybe the neighbors, to family members, sisters, that they need to be counted. That will also really make this maybe this exercise a success. And really, with that, we come to a close of today's discussion. I've been Farish Majid with a guest from Ubos, and he is none other than Moses, also to tell us more about this exercise here. For now, I step out, leaving the studios for the next part to come through. Thank you so much.
Thank you.